Hello and welcome to the Better Listeners Club, where we listen to, and I mean really listen to, some good music. Let's dive in. Alright, be honest with me. I'm sure you relate to this guy. I know I do. Like, there have been times when you've done something so colossally stupid that you can't help but just applaud yourself. We've gone so beyond frustration and anger, and you just end up laughing at yourself. And I'm going to go out on the limb and say we've all done something similar when it comes to matters of the heart as well. You know it's not going to end well. You know it's a bad idea. You know nothing good could possibly come out of this. But कभी तुम्हारे दिल ने तुम्हारी बात सुनी है? You just end up going for it anyway. The heart is stubborn. It does not listen to reason. Does what it wants. It's childish. Heart is a kid. Dil to baccha hai ji. That's the song that we'll be talking about today. Now, usually we focus more on the music, but let's just look at the lyrics for a second. Right in the first verse, you get these lines, Umr kab ki baras ke safed ho gayi, kari badri jawani ki chhatti nahi. So, barsat and safed have obviously been equated with old age, and badri, which is clouds, and kali, black. So if rain and white are old age, then obviously black clouds are youth. उम्र कब की बरस के सफेद हो गई, कारी बदरी जवानी की छटती नहीं. I'm old, but my youth refuses to leave me be. So this is someone who clearly thinks he's too old for heartbreak, too old for love, too tired for all of this. And yet, his heart continues to disobey him. He can't help but enjoy himself while still being wary. डर लगता है इश्क करने में जी, but he surrendered to the fact that दिल तो बच्चा है जी. Let's jump into the song. I want you to remember that little intro melody because that comes back every now and then. दांत से रेशमी डोर कटती नहीं, उम्र कब की बरस के सफेद हो गई, कारी बदरी जवानी की छटती नहीं. This was the first verse of the song, and towards the end is the part that I really want to focus on right now. Is a technique that's used called word painting. Now, word painting is essentially writing music that explains what's happening in the lyrics very literally, right? So we had the word dhadkan. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear dhadkan or heartbeat? Boop, 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 boop. And that's what the music did. Now, once you move past the chorus, you come back to the same verse again. The second verse, technically, is the same as the first verse. It's the same lyrics, it's the same words, it's the same melody as well, but with a twist. Back to verse 1. Now, what happened in the first verse was we had that bit of word painting with Wallahi Dhadkan. In verse 2, we don't see that. Instead, we're seeing the intro melody, but the intro melody also comes back a little differently. And what we're seeing is an expanded version of the intro melody. Let's check that out. So let's look at only this musical interlude and let's try to analyze the structure of what's happening here. So you had one melody going la 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 la. The same thing is repeated again. So let's say the first phrase of that intro music was phrase A. It's the same phrase that gets repeated. So structure so far is A, A. And then we have that third phrase which seems a little brighter. And that's because momentarily we've moved into the major key. So the B phrase is now in major key and it finds its way back to the minor key and the same melody as phrase A. The structure of the musical interlude that we've seen so far is A, B, A. So let's say that we've split the verse 1 into two parts. First was the melody, the second part was the word painting. So far we've seen intro music, which was also half. We just had the phrase A of the musical interlude. So phrase A of the musical interlude, verse 1, the melody, the word painting. Then we came to verse 2, which was the same first half of the verse 1. So that's pasted here. And an extension of the intro melody is pasted in place of the word painting that we saw in verse 1. So it's just like this mix and match of different blocks of music happening here. Now comes verse 3. Verse 3 is a whole different melody. But the word painting comes again. So verse 3, we've seen the same melody. I mean, it's a whole new melody, but the same melody for the first and the second lines of the third verse. So the structure we have so far is A, A. And then for the third line, for Hai zor kare, kitna shor kare, it becomes brighter because you want an elevated emotion there. So we have a phrase B, which is a different melody in major key again, which comes back into the minor key for Dil sa koi kami na nahi. There's a lot of frustration in that line and we can't stay in that major bright space again. We need a little bit of darkness. So the major key is brought back for Dil sa koi kami na nahi. So we see here the structure of A, B and C this time because the tune for Dil sa koi kami na nahi is not the same as the first line of verse 1. But the B part of verse 3 is brighter again, is major. So we're seeing two lines in minor, the third line in major, and the fourth line in minor again, which is what we'd seen in the intro music as well. Now here as well, we see that same word painting on the words koi to roke. There needs to be a pause for the words roke. It's the same kind of word painting that we saw in the first verse. It's following the same pattern of pum 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 pum. And with that, we come back to the bridge, which is a common tool used to avoid monotony. Oh, I love this part. So for this bridge section, there is a small modulation that's happened if you've noticed. It sounded a little different. It sounded more, for the lack of a better word, slightly Arabic sounding, right? And that's because of the scale that's being used. So far, what was used was, and don't get discouraged by this, was F sharp minor, but in the harmonic mode for most of it, going Now we're seeing a modification of this harmonic minor in till here. It stays in that minor melodic space. It's the next phrase, that note. Woo! If we were still in the same minor key, we would have seen. But that just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me anymore, even though it's a note from the same minor key. It is the fifth of the minor key, which is a strong note. But you see the flat 5 being followed by the flat 6, sharp 7, which is seen very frequently within Arabic keys. What we hear is this flat 5, and it's just such a beautiful spice. Verse 4 is melodically and structurally pretty much exactly the same as verse 3. We're seeing that same word painting switch to the major for one line. It's the exact same as verse 3. What I really want to talk about here is verse 1, 3, and 4 have that same word painting, with verse 1 going Walla ye dhadkan. For verse 3, it is Koi to roke. And verse 4, it's Tauba ye lamhe katte nahi kyu. So again, for lamhe that are not cutting, we need those pauses again. So the same word painting is applicable across these different verses. In verse 3 and verse 4, we saw a shift into major in the third phrase of the verses. So the switch to major in verse 3 happens on the word Haye zor kare kitna shor kare, slightly brighter. In verse 4, it happens on Dil dhadakta hai to aise lagta hai wo, again brighter. And the switch to minor immediately after that major in verse 3 comes on Dil sa koi kami na nahi. And in verse 4 comes on Prem ki mare katar re. Both of these need that minor treatment to make it sound a little darker. And isn't this absolute genius? So this is not work that is just the lyrics have been written down by the lyricist and sent over to the music director for them to just slap a melody on top of it and just turn it into a song. This is two people working together, because here are musical ideas of the word painting, of the switch to major key, switch back to minor key, which are working perfectly for 3 verses, which means that the verses have been written in a way to accommodate these word paintings. And I hope somebody out there is as excited about this as I am. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I don't think all of this is coincidence. This has to be planned. This is way too much to be just coincidence. We come to the end of the song. You would have expected the chorus to come in here. Deception. You got the words for the chorus, but not that same enthusiasm. And here's that delayed gratification. Now comes the outro, which is the exact same as the intro, where we had just that one melodic line playing solo, playing by itself. And that's exactly how the song ends as well. Little bit was that neat bow on top of a perfectly wrapped gift. It just completes the whole song so well. Every little emotion, every little nuance is carefully created. None of this is random. All of this has been well thought out. and every little element coming together into this little ball of perfection. This is what you get when you have geniuses working together. Lyrics by the one and only Gulzar Saab, music direction by Vishal Bhardwaj, and impeccable delivery by Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. Now, I want you to listen to this song again and let the song do its magic. Dance. Let the song move you. Appreciate the little nuances that they've so craftily put into this music. Happy listening.